in his book, from the book Behold the Pale Horse, written by William Cooper, a former naval intelligence officer, in regards to a document concerning the American public, it states, diversion is the primary strategy. The simplest method for securing silent weapons is to keep the public undisciplined and ignorant of basic system principles while keeping them confused. And this is what these reality shows are doing. Confused about gender, confused about political, confused about your role. You understand what I'm saying? Confused about religion, confused about politics. It says keep them confused, disorganized, and distracted with matters of no real importance.
I am so tone deaf to the rest. At a tune with the crew that creates what is cool in a school of dead fish, effortlessly move with the
Being that black men are seen as quote-unquote endangered species, what does that mean to you? And what are some solutions to this problem?
To be an endangered species means that you've been hunted, so to speak, to the brink of extinction. Now, we can talk about that metaphorically if we talk about how the negative aspects of our culture have been ingrained on us, have been pushed in our culture and our society on purpose. And we can talk about, the solutions that, many brilliant minds past and present have discussed, and including Dr. King, Malcolm, Huey, Marcus Garvey, Michael Eric Dyson, Cornel West, so on and so forth. But they're all the same formula you always hear. Invest in black communities, invest in black business, invest in black education, and and so on and so forth. But it'd be foolish to believe that there isn't powers that be in which that kind of plan it goes directly against their interests. As a people, we have buying power. As a people, we are athletically and intelligently gifted. You don't really hear about, a lot of the accomplishments that have been in some cases outright stolen. You'll hear, who Mark Zuckerberg is, who created Facebook, but a lot of people don't know about Philip Ngwale, who helped create the internet, who's considered the father of the internet, Time Magazine. And it's, things like that, even as simple as that might seem, that really go against us. In our communities, we don't own homes, we don't own real estate, we don't own business, and it's seemingly impossible for us to grab at, when it seems like the country is more interested in assisting, other nations come in and get up over their own people. And our problem is part of a much bigger problem. It's part of, outsourcing jobs. It's part of, the college system creating a generation of debt and so on and so forth. It's much bigger than, can we solve issues for black people? Black people's problem started with COINTELPRO, with, guys like, Freeway Ricky Ross and dealing with the DEA and the FBI and the Reagan years, pushing drugs and things to our community on purpose. People trust this government and, really have little clue of how devious they are and what they'll do to get a certain agenda across, from the shadow puppets who are behind these politicians pulling strings to do whatever it is they feel is necessary for their own agendas to be pushed across the table. So what do we do as a whole? Revolution. That's the answer.
on the one hand, the expression of a document that celebrates the universal freedom of human beings and exclude folk on the other hand. Black leadership steps into the gap to try to articulate the grievances of exclusion of African American people from that larger circle of American privilege. And they began to defend the gains that are necessary to close the gap between the ideal and the reality. So, from the very beginning, black leadership is about reinterpreting the fundamental premises of American democracy so that the ideals after which they aim can be embodied and the noble goals that they articulate can be lived up to. It is not, as you said, a pejorative, an exclusionary practice to talk about a black agenda. The black agenda responds to the already excluded principles by which black people have been kept out. Now, the question is, in this particular era, as we evolve, we think about the fact that during slavery, we had black leaders who expressed our grievances and talked about our gains and talked about our group identity. We did that during Reconstruction. We did that during Jim Crow law and legal segregation. We did that during the height of the Civil Rights Movement. We did that during the 70s when there was a white backlash. And we must do that now in this so-called post-racial era. A black agenda is nothing more than the possibility of African American people being included in American democratic experimentation without hindrance or limitation or encumbrances, number one. Number two, what's very important to say, we are not un-American, we are ultimate Americans. We express our ultimate patriotism by being able to love the country. It was James Baldwin who said, "I love this country more than any nation on the earth, which is why I reserve the right to criticize her perpetually." So my point is, a black agenda is about making America live up to its best and noble ideas and to express the ways in which African American people have been excluded and how we must now be included in that. And then finally, often we have been rejected into America. We have been seen as the litmus test for what is authentically American only after we have defined what is not American. A lot of people did not see Martin Luther King Jr. as a hero. A lot of people did not see W.E.B. Du Bois as a hero. A lot of people didn't even see Nannie Helen Burroughs as a hero, or Fannie Lou Hamer, or Ella Baker. These are people who had the temerity, the unabashed gall to stand up against America and say, "No, you ain't doing it right. What you call America is not America. What we think is America is what you said." Dr. King said the night before he died, "Be true to what you said on paper." Black leadership expresses a black agenda that wants America to become better and more noble in its aspirations, but at the same time pay attention to those who have been excluded. So when I think black agenda, I think of, even in the age of Obama, Mr. Obama is an extraordinary human being who is a great president, potentially. We love him. We think he's a marvelous human being. But at the same time, a black agenda is not qualified or surrendered because Mr. Obama is in the White House. Mr. Obama is the chief executive of the United States of America. He has a right to exercise his vision about what should happen. We as black leaders, black intellectuals, black critics, black public servants are here to defend a black agenda that may ironically be even more viciously assaulted when we have a black face on an American empire that has been historically insensitive to the cause and claims of black people. So when I see black agenda, I say, let's articulate what we need at this particular point in this post-racial era. And I'll end by saying this. I don't believe in a post-racial moment. I think we should have a post-racist moment. We should not look beyond the reality of race. We should look beyond the reality of racism. Black agendas are about America. When America is made best, black people stand up and articulate our visions, our dreams, our aspirations, our sentiments. We love Mr. Obama. We recognize he is a president. We must have prophets who tell the truth, and that's what we're doing here today.
Okay, Tatiana. How do you think that we should get along as people? Like everyone. How can we get along?
With every people?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know that answer.
What is the answer?
You can try sharing with other people, but if you don't like each other, well, you do one thing nice for one of them and do one thing nice, and then they'll do one nice thing for you, and then you'll turn out to be friends.
So be kind to others, and they should be kind to you, yeah?